How many of you have fear? You have fear. What's your fear? I talk to a lot of people, and all people have fear. In my counseling and talking to other people all week, I've been asking them, do you have fear? And they would say, yeah. Everybody said, yes, I have fear. And I heard so many different stories. It's so amazing. What do you fear? One woman told me that she had a friend who is a prostitute, and the neighbor who would know that her friend is a prostitute, right? And she is afraid of hanging out with her friend because of what others may think of her. And so she tried to avoid her friend because she's worried about what others think of her. And I'm like, wow, that is so interesting. One person told me they are afraid of what others think of them. So they'll try to present themselves in the right way in order that people would think a certain way of them. But that doesn't work because people still think badly of them. That's interesting, right? One person said that they're afraid of dying. Anybody here afraid of dying? It's abnormal to have anger. It's abnormal to have fear. It's abnormal to have doubt, worry, loneliness, jealousy, envy, strife, revenge. All this stuff is abnormal. Christ came and he cleaned all that out. It doesn't really exist. It's an illusion because it's of the devil, and the devil is weak. He's just pretending to be strong, but he's weak. He can't really do anything to you except deceive you, and you'll do it to yourself because you think it's you. You think what you think and feel is you. It's abnormal not to hang out with the prostitute because of what someone else might think of you. That's not normal. If Christ thought that way, nobody would have been healed. He came for the sick. He came for the ones who were lonely and envious and strife and had fear and doubt and worry. So he had to go amongst the people. Just some of the Jews get mad at him, like, oh, he's hanging out with prostitutes or something like that. And they didn't like him for it, something like that. But you cannot be a son or daughter of God with all this stuff. And that's why it is important to die from the ego. But you got to overcome the anger. Anger is abnormal. Children of God do not have anger, but what they have is discernment, meaning they're aware. They're aware at all times. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's work or playing or hanging out or nothing at all, you are aware and you can get everything done in a perfect way without even thinking about it. But you got to be aware. It's not normal to have fear, inward fear, right? Spiritual fear. Logical fear is somebody's going to hurt you in a physical way. You want to get out of their way. Some crazy people walking down the road want to hurt you. That's practical fear. Protecting yourself. But inward fear, spiritual fear, that's been taken away from us. And the only reason you think that you still have it is because you think that there is an I. I feel fear. I worry about what someone think about me. I try to please others. I don't want to hurt someone else's feeling. I take on my son's emotions or somebody else's emotions. You think that you're taking it on when in reality there is no you. This idea of you is an illusion. That's why when you go through the ego death, as Rochelle was saying, you're dying away from that illusion of yourself. You are none of these things that you think that you are. You really are not. But you think you are, so in order to live it out, if you really pay attention to yourself, you put I into it first. I feel this. You're hurting my feelings. You're embarrassing me because you really think there's a you and there is no you. There is no you. It's an illusion. It's a lie straight out of hell. There is no you. The real you, not this fake you, have no fear, no doubt, no worries, no insecurity. You are perfect. The real you is perfect. But that's why until this fate you forgive, because no one on earth has a right to judge anybody. Let ye without sin cast the first stone. Nobody has a right. And if you're judging someone else, it means something wrong with you. And you're trying to make this fate you feel better, whatever it might be. But I promise you, once you overcome that anger, you start to overcome everything else. You start to see by the light, and this whole facade, this mask will come off. But you got to see it through. You got to see it through. So the next time you experience fear, I want you to welcome that feeling. I want you to wake up with it, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and supper, and dinner again with the fear. And don't say, I have fear. Just see that you have it, and then you'll become one. It'll fade away. There is no I, and you will see that, wow, I never had fear. It was this fake I that thought I had fear, but you never had it. Don't run from it, relax in it. And don't try to get away from it by reaching for the phone, calling somebody that you don't even want to talk to anyway, or trying to hold on to anything. Anything. If your wife's trying to take your child away from you and you feel fear about it or you feel worried and they go to court and they threaten to take your money and all that, just tell them, take the child. Don't cut the baby in half. Just take the child. Because the only reason you're freaking out over losing the child, you have the wrong identity with the child. The child give you a false feeling as well. It makes you feel like you love. You ain't got no love. It makes you feel like a father. It makes you feel like a mother, right? Those are fake feelings. Those are not. There's no feeling to feeling like a father. No feeling to being a father. You're just a father. It's just a title you have because you made the baby. No feeling come with being a mother. If you have feeling for being a mother, you're on an ego trip. It's all ego. I'm a mother. Look at me. I love my child. And now the world thinks you're wonderful, but the child hates you because now you're trying to prove that you are a mother and you're destroying the child. Come on, child. Get mother's love. Have breakfast. Have dinner. Put on your jacket. Do this. You're trying to pretend you have love. It's all fake. It's so fake. And you're not going to know it, though, until you completely give up. There's not one person or one thing on earth that can solve spiritual problems. You got to let go and really let God do it because you're living a fake life. How are you going to help the prostitute if you're running away from the prostitute because your little ego trip worried about what someone else is going to think about you hanging out with the prostitute or whatever it may be, the situation. The runner is worse than the prostitute herself because you're on the ego trip, you're thinking you're wonderful and you're not. You're thinking you're better than that person because you really haven't paid attention to yourself. One of the most powerful things you can do is know thyself. It runs deep. You're so deep in darkness that you don't even know it. Everything you feel and think and worry about is all ego. It needs to die. It's not the real you. The real you, once this ego dies, you'll be anywhere and be at total peace. You won't need anything or want anything or care about anything. It's going to be amazing. But you got to die in order to live. You got to be willing to let go of everything, everyone at all times. And you will go through it. It will be hard because you're so identified with the not you. It feels like you're dying. It feels like you're lonely. It feels like you're sad, but you're not. That's the fake you. You just have identified with this not you all your life growing up, and no one ever said to you, you know what, stop being angry. It's not happening to you. It's happening to your ego. And I'm telling you another thing I want to add. Once you see that and start to overcome it, you will never be a follower and never be a leader again. Because in order to be a leader, you got to have some followers. So you think, oh, I'm a leader, so I need to have some followers, right? I'll make my kids follow me. I'll make somebody follow me. And in order to be a follower, you got to think of other people as a leader. Oh, this person got the answer. They have the answer. I'm going to go to them. They have the answer. And then when they don't have your little answer that you think they should have, you're ready to kill them. You turn on them just like that. And I realize, hey, that was me thinking that that person had the answer for me. Nobody has the answer. No one has it but God. And when you give up and let this thing, your ego die, in order to live, you must die. And when you give up trying to use people, places, and things to feel better, then you shall know God. You would know him. The real you will follow the Spirit of God. It's abnormal to have a leader, a physical leader. It's abnormal. In the good old days, we weren't even taught that anyway. We were told never to follow another person. Doesn't mean you don't learn and listen and let it go in one ear and out the other. You don't fellowship. But don't become so unconscious that you can't see that you made that person your God. And it's not their fault you did that. But because you're not ready to see your own fault, you blame them for it. You're the one looking on the outside for the answers. And people are no good. Anybody that want to be your leader is no good. That's a lost person. Any question about that? That makes sense? All this stuff, it's not real. You're free. Christ came and made us free. But the us that is free, you don't even know that person anymore. But you can know that person. We got to shed off the mask. You got to take off the old clothes and you'll see the real person. So here's what you do again. Next time you have fear, and you will, relax in it. Don't try to get away from it. Don't get high to run away from it. Don't call up someone to get away from it. Don't do anything but just live in it, feel it, and go through it. Face it. Go through it and you'll be done with it. And don't let the devil talk you out of it. He doesn't want to leave you. He wants your soul. He wants your soul, so he give you all kinds of crazy ideas. And it's not true that, I know I hear all the time, well, it's normal to be angry. Everybody is angry. That's a normal way. That's a lie. It is not normal to have fear and doubt and worry and all that stuff. So just go through it. It's time to go through it. That makes sense a little bit? Amazing.